Hello, this is Josh. I have been to the cinema once again, and I have seen a film by Pedro Almodovar, the prolific Spanish filmmaker with a long, illustrious career. Some of his most notorious movies I haven't even seen. Volver, All About My Mother, Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. These are blind spots for me. But I have really enjoyed recent Almodovar. What were the films? Parallel Mothers a couple years ago, Pain and Glory, are really excellent movies. So this is just a bucket list thing of mine. I need to catch up on Pedro Almodovar. But his new film, his first English language feature, is The Room Next Door, and it stars Tilda Swinton and Julianne Moore, and John Turturro is in there as well. And this movie is very typical of Almodovar. It's melodramatic. It's about very serious issues, you could say grave issues, and yet it has a light touch, and it is delightful and beautiful and human and real. And it's the thing I'll say about Almodovar as a filmmaker is, you see like the work of an auteur sometimes, and you're like, man, I wish I could do that. Man, I wish, if I had the right resources and the right brain and the right creative spark and whatever, I could create something. You see something and you wish you could approximate it. That's not the kind of artist Almodovar is. He makes Almodovar movies. He makes movies that only he could make, and you want to see them. You want to see as many of them as he'll make, but you don't want to, co-opt them. You couldn't. Like, they wouldn't make any sense coming from anyone other than this filmmaker. And he has his particular obsessions and themes and they're all on display here in this movie. So it is the subject matter of this movie, as I say, is heavy. It is essentially a movie about mild spoilers, but this is just the premise of the movie. I believe it's in the trailers and the marketing. But Tilda Swinton is a woman with inoperable cancer who decides she would like to manage the end of her life, and she asks a friend, Julianne Moore's character, to help her do that, and she would like her to be in the room next door, so to speak, when this occurs. And it's all about these women rekindling their friendship, talking about their lives. There's little tangents for side stories, there's flashbacks, things that don't seem like they're related to the main plot, but thematically they truly are. And then there is just the story of them essentially plotting a beautiful crime, because it is a crime. They're in New York State, they're in New York City, and then the second half of the movie takes place somewhere upstate. I'm not sure where it was meant to be. It is interesting that when they go upstate, all the incidental characters they run into happen to have Spanish, European Spanish accents, because these are a lot of Almodovar's, friends and his typical actors, players. But anyway, yeah, so it's a crime what they're doing. It's not legal, and it has to be done with finesse, and it's very difficult, and there's all kinds of ramifications and issues. And it sounds ponderous, and it sounds heavy, and there are moments that are emotionally very heavy in this movie, but as I say, by and large, it's actually strangely light and beautiful and breezy, and you enjoy spending time with these women. This is a fantastic movie. If you like international cinema, you want to see a European filmmaker making an English language movie, I guess I would say, I don't have any like strong dings against the movie or criticisms of the movie. I would just say that it takes a little bit of time to get used to the screenwriting in English. A non-native English speaker writing an English script. Sorry, it feels a little bit, but I don't know how much of that is the a rocky road to translation, or if it's just that sensibility, because characters are overly expository. They'll say everything that they're thinking, or they'll give like they'll say something, but then they'll also give like the context of it. They'll talk in ways that people don't talk. And I was wondering if this was in Spanish, if I would just, that's kind of part of the melodramatic style that Almodovar works in. So I'm not even saying that's bad. I'm just saying it took me a little while to get caught up in the cadence of this movie and the way people talk. But it truly is excellent, and a lovely time at the movies, despite some very serious subject matter. And I won't say much else about it other than it good. Oh, John Turturro is there, a very small part but memorable, and he plays a kind of a professor who is, they're kind of like, these are like New York City intelligentsia types. Julianne Moore is a writer, and Tilda Swinton's a war correspondent, a war reporter, and John Turturro is a kind of a he's a professor, but he talks a lot about climate change and apocalyptic things, and he's essentially a person who has given up hope for the future of the Earth and the human race, and is adjusting his life accordingly. And that's one of the it's played a little bit for comedy, weirdly, but it's also one of the heavier things in the movie. But it's a small part of it. But it's always great to see Turturro, and of course here we have Maud Lebowski and the Jesus together in a movie. But that's all. Thank you for watching. I'll be back with more reviews and other fun stuff very soon, and as well as new riffs and stuff. So I'm going to talk a little bit more. You can join me on my Patreon, where I'm kind of, surveying the land and figuring out what 2025 is going to look like. And so I'm starting that process now. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon. Josh out.